right, welcome in to Nate's NFL Power Podcast, guys. Today we have episode 6, week 6 NFL Power Rankings. Of course, I am your host, editor, and producer. I'm the whole shebang-a-bang. My name is AlwaysTriggered, aka Big Nate. And as always, we have our full 32-1 power rankings going to be coming at you here. I'm going to set you up with the week 6 game slate so that you can see when all the games are going to be played. We'll go through the top 6 games for the upcoming week, and we will be picking those games. Got a great episode for you guys here today. Please, guys, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It costs you absolutely nothing to do it, and it might just help your boy out. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in. Start with that basement. At 32, you've got the Carolina Panthers, who just fired Matt Rule. 31, the Denver Broncos, who played the most absolute worst NFL game I have ever seen on Thursday. It was so bad, and they end up going to overtime, and their fans boo them and exit the stadium. They weren't even wanting to watch overtime. They were like, F that, we've got work tomorrow, we're out of there. 30, you've got the Commanders. 29, the Steelers. 28, the Texans getting their first win of the year. 27, the Chicago Bears. 26, the Detroit Lions, who got blanked by the Patriots, who are up there at 24. Those Colts at 25 after beating those Broncos on that terrible game. 23 is the Arizona Cardinals getting knocked out of the Fringe down into the basement after losing to the Eagles. Maybe that might be a little harsh, but they're really not doing it for me. You got the Seahawks and Raiders rounding out 22 and 21. The Las Vegas Raiders have too much talent, in my opinion, to be 1 and 4. You know, they lose to the Chiefs. They were up by 3 scores early in KC and still could not pull that game off. Tough break for them. They still have a lot of talent. They can get things going. Also, news on Davante Adams. He is being looked at for a possible fine and or suspension. I highly doubt he'll get suspended. He pushed a ESPN affiliate or somebody who works for a like as a contractor for ESPN, like a camera guy. So he pushed him down to the ground. He was frustrated, Davante Adams, after that loss to the Chiefs, and I don't blame him how that loss occurred. So, but I will blame him for hitting that guy. He should have not have done that, and I think it was just out of frustration. He immediately apologized. I believe he put a tweet out about it too. So the NFL is looking into that. The Raiders on bye week this week, and we'll see what comes of it. All right, let's get you over your Fringe. You got the Jaguars there moving 5 spots down after their loss to the Texans. The Falcons, the Saints there at 18. Tennessee Titans at 17. Cleveland Browns at 16. They're still a great running team, those Browns, but man, that Jacoby interception in the end zone at the end of that game was pretty rough. The Dolphins and Packers and Rams all coming out of the top 10. All 3 of those teams coming out of the top 10. You've got the Giants at 12 and the New York Jets at 11. How about that for New York? Both New York teams there, 12 and 11, right outside the top 10, playing great football. Of course, the Giants beating those Packers. You had the Jets stomping out their opponent, the Dolphins, 40-17. Of course, the Dolphins, I would say of these 3 teams that have fallen out of the top 10, the Dolphins are the ones that probably can get back up there the easiest, in my opinion. All 3 of these teams, what they have in common is they just don't look anything like they have in the past. The Dolphins, like I said, with their multiple quarterback concussion injuries, it'll be interesting to see who's going to be manning their squad for this upcoming game on Sunday. We'll get into that a little more in a moment. The Packers have such deficiencies at the wide receiver position, and Aaron Rodgers, you would think, can get in sync with those guys. Their defense isn't as good as it was, so they really don't look like anything like they did last year. And the Rams, without Andrew Whitworth, that offensive line is so suspect. Matthew Stafford getting sacked 5 times in their loss to the Cowboys. All right, guys, check it out. We've got our top 10 coming at you here for week 6 with a whole brand new look. If you can notice here, or if you do notice, we have no more article. Of course, they are my notes, and I'm using them, but I will no longer be publishing my article. I really like this new format. I hope you guys do too. Of course, let me know down in the comments below what you think of the new format. I think it looks kind of stylish. I'm not the best with this stuff, but I'm trying. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the top 10. At number 10, San Francisco 49ers. With Jimmy G, they outrushed the Panthers. It was 153 yards to 64. They're very much a running team, very much a defensive team. They look like they did last year, relying on that aspect of their game, keeping Jimmy G kind of in his lane And if they keep doing that, they're going to be a strong contender in a very, very soft NFC. At number 9, you have the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost, what was it, to a close game to our number 8 team, the Baltimore Ravens, in a divisional game. Now, that was in Baltimore, so Cincinnati will get a chance to get Baltimore back when they head over to Ohio. These teams very evenly matched. That game was very close. They have a lot of talent, both these teams on the offensive side of the ball. Of course, Baltimore having more talent with the rushing game and the rushing players. Joe Mixon's no slouch, but Cincinnati definitely has the edge, I believe, with the passing game. Although Jamar Chase didn't have a great game last game there in Baltimore. Number 7, the Minnesota Vikings. 4-1 now are the Vikings, with their only loss being to the Eagles. So you really can't knock them for their loss. They're playing pretty well, although they don't always look that great. They're winning. They went 12 for 15 on third downs in their win last week against the Bears. And of course, when you go 12 for 15 on third down, good things are going to happen. Number 6, Dallas Cowboys. They are very much a defensive team. My eye test tells me the Dallas Cowboys defense is the best defense in the NFL. They do have the highest pressure rate. I believe it's hovering somewhere around 39%. Excuse me as my phone goes off there. And the Dallas Cowboys look extremely, extremely strong with their rushing attack as well. They've got 2 elite running backs. Pollard brings that flash with his speed. And Zeke, I think he's very underappreciated, very tough guy, runs tough and keeps defenses honest. You got to gang tackle that guy. I mean, he's always falling forward. So really good combination. And Cooper Rush, 4 straight victories this year after Dak went out. And he's very much keeping them on schedule, not turning the ball over, which is huge. Even on that huge hit he took, I was very surprised he didn't fumble the ball last week. He took a massive blindside sack, and he survived it, and they're doing well. Number 5, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That game that they won against the Falcons featured a ton of Lenny. Man, Brady found him 83 yards there in the air. He had 56 yards, Leonard Fournette on the ground, and their win over Atlanta. Number 4, the Los Angeles Chargers. Man, they definitely have flaws, like going for it with less than 2 minutes on your own side of the 50, and you're only up by 2. So, I mean, that's some questionable stuff there, Coach Staley. The Chargers are a very, very good football team. Austin Eckler, he went off 173 ground yards Austin Eckler had last week. And when the Chargers run the ball and they have Herbert, even though he's a little banged up, that offense is very, very powerful. The defense, however, is a little suspect, but I really do believe in the LA Chargers. Number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. What can I say about the Eagles? Solid win against the Cardinals. They are 5-0, so they just simply do not lose. The only unbeaten team in the NFL, and clearly, in my opinion, the best team in the NFC. Number 2, the Buffalo Bills. Man, it was really hard for me not to put the Bills at number 1. I think if the Bills were 100% healthy, I could put them at number 1. We're going to be able to get this resolved here by the end of this week, because you'll see in the next episode, one of these teams is going to be ahead of the other one, and rightfully so. They face off against each other. So I would have put Buffalo up at number 1, and I still like their defense a lot better than KC. I think Buffalo's defense is completely underrated. They do an awesome job compared to last year of fitting their run fits. So I'm very impressed with the Buffalo Bills, and I might even be convincing myself to move them up to number 1 now. But my number 1 team here heading into Week 6 is the Kansas City Chiefs. 4-1, Kelsey went off. They were down 17-0 to the Raiders, and they stormed back. They were not getting any calls, and they still won. And he had 4 touchdowns, Kelsey, in that game. Patrick Mahomes and what he can do, their offensive side of the ball, very hard to stop. Their defense, they've got some pieces, but they don't have a all-around solid defense. But they're playing out of their mind right now. So the Kansas City Chiefs, my number 1 team heading into 6. So there you have it. That is my top 10. Let's get you right in over to your game slate. We have 4 teams on bye week. So bye weeks start this week. Your Tennessee Titans, Las Vegas Raiders, Detroit Lions, Houston Texans all have the week off. You got a Thursday nighter. Let's hope, please, that it's nowhere near as bad. It's going to be impossible to be as bad as it was last week. I'm not kidding you. That game last week was by far the worst game I've ever seen. And that's saying something. I've watched every single NFL game since I was 5 years old. That Broncos game last week was awful. So we got Commanders, Bears closer in competition, according to my rankings, you got 30 versus 27. NFC matchup, I'm hoping it's a at least decent and competitive game. That's all I hope for. Sunday, 1 p.m. slate, you got Niners, Falcons, Patriots, Browns, Jets, Packers, Jaguars, Colts, Vikings, Dolphins, Bengals, Saints, Baltimore Ravens, and the New York Giants, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Pittsburgh Steelers. You got a pair of 4:05 kickoffs there for games being hosted out west. You got the Rams hosting the Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks hosting the Arizona Cardinals. Sunday, 4:25, right in that prime slot. CBS has this game, guys. The Buffalo Bills at Kansas City Chiefs. You know damn well I'm going to be locked into that. You'll definitely see where that game is. I don't think anyone has any or is going to be surprised where that game lands in our top 6 games of the week here next. Sunday nighter, 8:20, you got an NFC East showdown. Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles. And then you got that Monday night game. Again, please help us. We got the Denver Broncos in primetime again. That offense is about as pathetic as it gets. Maybe the Chargers defense being a little loose can help the Broncos make a game of it and make it an interesting game. I believe that the Chargers are going to win that game, but let's hope that the Denver Broncos don't put another stinker up for us. It's no joke. That was just tough. All right, let's get you to your top 6 games of the week, guys. At number 6, we got the Niners and Falcons. I kind of think this is a sneaky one. Again, I really like what the Falcons are doing with Marcus Mariota and their running attack and keeping everything kind of pretty easy for Marcus. And that's kind of what Jimmy G does. So I really like how this game is going to shape up. And I want to see who comes out of this one. Number 5, the New York Jets at Green Bay Packers. Never have I ever thought I would rank the Jets higher than the Packers. You know, the Jets have an identity of defense and running. I mean, Breece Hall went for like almost 200 yards last week, and they put a 40-burger up. So I really like the Jets and Coach Saleh, what they're doing. We'll see how they look in Green Bay. That's a tough place to play. Number 4, Baltimore Ravens, New York Giants, 3-2 versus 4-1. That's just a big interconference game. I like that one, 8 versus 12. Number 3, you got the Vikings versus the Dolphins, 7 versus 15 for me. You know, the Dolphins can bounce back. The Vikings kind of looked all over the place, but they win. Like I said, they only lost to the Eagles, so we'll see how they look. And it'll be interesting to see which of the Miami quarterbacks is back. I believe Teddy should be back for that game. Number 2, Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, you already know what these first 2 games are. This is an NFC East showdown. Look at these records. Team who wins this game is going to be number 1 in the NFC East, and your number 1 game, can't pass that one up. Number 2 versus number 1, Buffalo Bills at Kansas City Chiefs. I'm ready already. Just let's go. Let's kick that off. I want that question answered. Who's going to be 5-1? Who's going to be 4-2? Who's going to be the top dog probably on our chart for next week? As always, we're going to go ahead and pick these games. Boom, there you go. Last week, guys, I finished 3-3. You know, coming off a 6-0 week, 3-3 definitely doesn't look good. I was almost scared it was going to be 2-4 because I picked the Chiefs. Still overall 21-9 after a 3-3 week. So your boy's doing pretty good. If you guys want part of the pick'ems, that link is still in the description below. You can go ahead and join it. This is where I'm leaning for these picks. I can change them up until kickoff, and so can you. So if you guys want to go ahead and compete with me, see if you can outdo me. If anyone thinks they're, or can show me that they're above 21-9 for my top 6 games of the week this year, I'd like to know, because I think I'm doing pretty solid there with those picks. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. You guys are the best, especially my family, my friends. I love you guys with all my heart. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you have made it to the end of the video. Much love to you. I hope you guys have an excellent day. Enjoy those games this weekend. Peace.